From Plant Lab in Austin, Texas, this is Stacker News Live! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name's Car. I'm with Keyan. Keyan, how's it going?
It's going good. It's a good day.
Are you drinking a beer? What are you drinking there?
I have a beer. I have a Shiner Bock. It's I believe this is from Texas, Shiner, Texas. That's a place.
Yeah.
And they also have what do they have? They have a bar here that a lot of us go to, but I don't think it's like, I think they're like a chain.
Shiners? No, that's not the same. Wait, is it? No, there's no way that's the same thing.
You don't think that's not the same thing as, you think they're just both named Shiner?
I thought that's what that was.
One's a bar, and
I feel like I go there all the time for like bit devs and stuff, and I've never asked them, to be honest. It's kind of like that place Waterloo. Like we have Waterloo Records and then the Waterloo like thing or whatever. So, and then they have the Waterloo drink. Turns out those aren't all the same.
Yeah, I think Texans just don't like coming up with names or something.
I mean, it is true. I mean, this show is called SNL, right? So
that's true. Yeah, I think it might. Yeah, we're like, I got infected with it early. So
yeah, that does make sense. How was your week?
How's my week? It was good. I don't remember a whole lot of it, which means it was good. There was nothing terrible that happened. It was cold. Oh, it froze in Austin.
Shut up! Really?
It did. You were
wow.
here. You were here.
No, dude. I've been in Nashville all week. And dude, I got off the plane. I went to Target like a dummy because I was like, well, I got to go get some like toiletries and stuff. I should have done it before, but I was running late that day. And like, I got stuck in like South Nashville. And like, I finally was able to get like a lift like an hour, 2 hours later. It was so bad, dude. The snow was so bad here. Apparently it doesn't happen all the time, but it was ridiculous. Look, yeah, it was ridiculous.
Oh wow, you got snow. Oh, I didn't realize you guys
dude,
got
it was
cool.
snowing. It was basically like day after tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. It was ridiculous.
I mean, for you, snow is pretty. It
is so cold.
It snows like half an inch, and you're like Armageddon.
Yeah, there is another person. I won't say who it is, but there was another person from Austin who I saw there, and I was like, "It's so effing cold," and they're like, "It's because we're from Texas, Car." I was like, "Yep." That's what it is. Oh, man.
What are you doing in Nashville?
They had the mining summit. It was a pretty amazing summit. And turns out miners know how to run companies. I mean, just like there were some, I won't say who they are, but there were some people there that were just describing, operations, cash flow, like really talking about how you really gonna kind of have to run it like bare metal, if that makes any sense. Like it's really lean, and it was surprising to hear that a lot of that portion of the industry is also struggling with the same things a lot of us startups are struggling with. It's just the inflow, all that kind of stuff. So to me, I thought that was really surprising, and then just being able to hang out with miners, dude, like they're just built different. Just like, because like, I get to hang out with like, startups and like devs and stuff like that.
Yeah, devs are soft. Yeah,
miners
are
like,
they're like real. They're like real people. They're like real workers. They're like,
dude,
they
were way. I was learning so much from them. Like I was able to like hang out with some guys, on like in a conference room and talk to them about stuff, and just what they were telling me, I was just like soaking it in. I was like, cool, I needed to hear this. It's stuff that you could apply, in any business. It's just the way they look at things is really interesting. So
see any famous Bitcoiners there that were also interested?
Ton of famous Bitcoiners. I can't say who they are because they have a strict policy there. But yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. Yeah, good time.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was good. I definitely would never come back to Nashville though in January, because of the snow. That was ridiculous.
It probably. I'll look it up later. It's probably like half an inch of snow or something.
Dude, it was negative. I'm sure it was like Antarctica, dude. It was pretty bad.
It was negative outside?
I'm pretty sure it was. Like, I literally was just. Yeah, it was bad.
Maybe in Celsius. You don't even count. We don't count Celsius. We're from Texas, dude. It's Fahrenheit all the way.
All right. Stackers, if you've never seen the show, this is called Stacker News Live. We do the show every Friday around 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. But today we did it at 5 because I had to find a spot for Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. But we covered the top 5 stories that you voted on the Stacker News community, and I don't get a vote. Keyan, I don't know if he votes. He's just drinking Shiner right now,
I
but
vote. You
he
vote.
vote.
You
I
vote too.
sometimes I vote. None of my stories that I voted for are in the top. Oh wait, Semaphore is, but other than that, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, oh no, Artist Stacker News is, but that's meta.
And you're
What?
and you're doing the show from a doctor's office right now. You're in a
No,
doctor's waiting room. That's what it looks.
I'm in
That's
like
what
an
it looks like.
American Airlines like lounge thing.
We never
Anyway,
stop. Car's in the hospital right now.
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Stackers, I'm fine. Anyway, we're going to cover the top 5 stories. Let's jump into the first top story. First top story is, can you be a libertarian toxic Bitcoin maximalist? Man, that's a word full. This is a Bitcoin post, January 13th, Siggy47, 83 comments, 12,000 sats. Keyan, I'm starting to realize just Siggy knows how to word these titles.
I mean, Sicky's been around for, I feel like, most of Stacker News' life at this point. What do we got? 30,000. Yeah, he's one of the earliest stackers that we have, and I think the most profitable as a stacker, as we talked about last time. But yeah, he does. I think he knows what we like.
He knows what the stackers like. What is this about?
Yeah, so Siggy is labels himself as a libertarian. He's written before about being a libertarian, being involved in like the libertarian movement in New York years ago. So he identifies pretty strongly with all of the kind of values there. But he apparently he feels a little bit conflicted in terms of his maximalism, because you can view libertarian a variety of ways. Some people view it as like more or less a political ideology, and therefore it only kind of involves governments and laws and things like that. But then some people view it as like more of a way of living, and almost being liberal with your judgments, or not judging, and therefore being like liberal in some other way. But anyway, he had trouble like gelling his Bitcoin maximalism with his libertarianism, and it started a pretty interesting discussion. There were 83 comments here. I mean, a lot of stackers probably identify along some line of libertarianism, and then also a lot of stackers identify with maximalism, and so there was a lot to open up and discuss.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's interesting, the culture in Bitcoin, and I even hate using that word because it definitely feels like people from the outside look at us and they see this culture, but it makes me wonder, like, is that really the culture of Bitcoin, or is it just like, is it just us stacking, right? Or is it just us like, is it the proof of work system that Satoshi created? Like, to me, it was just always interesting when people say like, oh, it's just the culture, it's just culture, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's different types, at least especially these days. There's so many different types of Bitcoiners coming in these days, especially with the ETF. It's like, can you say there's actually a culture in Bitcoin? I think there's more subcultures inside of Bitcoin. I think we're definitely in a subculture. I definitely saw that when I was hanging out with miners the past week. Like, we're definitely in a subculture. Keyan, I don't know if you know.
Are we in a better subculture then?
I don't know. We're on the like the startup, like lightning dev culture. If that has a culture, I don't even know.
It seems more punk though. Is that more? Are we at least more? Are we cooler? Like, I just want to be cool.
I don't know, man. Those miners are pretty damn cool.
They are, aren't they? I've met a few. I mean, especially the ones that have come from like oil, production.
Dude, the way they talk
mining.
About energy is fascinating. Anyway.
Dude, yeah, it's insane. They're like real. They're like real. Like, we're in the we're like metaverse people, and they're like real people. It kind of hurts a little.
Yeah,
bit.
I think us in general, just as like startups, we think in like runway terms, and they're thinking of like operational costs and how many employees do I need and like how much. Yeah, it's a totally different mindset. It's good though. It's good. Like, anyways. So what do you think about the whole culture thing in Bitcoin? Is there a culture? Is that?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been discussing it. Well, I mean, but I don't think your butt talks. But I think we've been discussing this over the last few episodes, and I think there is a culture crisis, or I think there is a bit of a culture shift in Bitcoin, probably, going on, and I think it's been going on for a long time, but it does feel like things are changing a lot more now that Bitcoin is no longer, it's like less subversive now. The ETF, it's gotten this kind of government stamp of approval almost, and I think it's going to see a lot. We're going to see a lot more normal people getting involved in Bitcoin, and then the kind of conforming or mellowing out of culture that usually happens when normal people join it. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll really see. This post specifically was about like how, like, should you be a toxic Bitcoin maximalist if you're a libertarian? Are they like consistent philosophies?
I see those as two different things, to be honest. Um,
Yeah,
I see the toxic Bitcoin maximalist just as like ruthless, just as ruthless as just in and however you speak about anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can do whatever you want, just don't harm anybody. That's my kind of mindset. But um, I think that's how I view toxic maximalism.
yeah, I think that's fair. I think they are. I think they are two separate things. I mean, usually a toxic maximalist is also a libertarian,
You
but I can.
think? I
I
feel
can.
like I've run into some like crypto libertarians.
No, I mean, it goes one way. Like if I'm a toxic maximalist, I'm likely a libertarian. But if I'm a libertarian, it doesn't make me
Yeah, Bitcoiner. Yeah,
a toxic maximalist. And so and I imagine there are toxic maximalists also that are like socialists or other things. I wonder if Ben Art considers himself he's like probably the most well known to me socialist Bitcoiner. And I wonder if he identifies as a toxic maximalist. I don't think he does. He seems pretty even keeled. Yeah, I don't really. I think they can sit alongside each other. I think they're two independent things, like you do. But I don't think anyone who's a libertarian should feel like they don't get a choice whether if they're an asshole to shitcoiners or not. Um, and I don't feel, and then a libertarian doesn't, yeah, and then a toxic maximalist doesn't have to be a libertarian. I don't think either.
yeah. We got Elvis Mercury with the top comment. He said, "Almost everything that is all interesting or important lives in tension with something that is nearly its opposite." I like this quote by Niels Bohr. The opposite of a correct statement is a false statement, but the opposite of a profound truth may well be another profound truth. Unfortunately, it means you're probably always destined to struggle, and you're not. And if you're not struggling, you've become trivial. Fortunately, the struggle is a sign that matters. That it matters. I think it's just growth, man. Like even me, like when I started and I was just doing crypto stuff, and then move over to Bitcoin, and then you're in this kind of weird little learning training wheels thing. And even now, I feel like I've definitely grown, in the past 6 months than I have previously to that. So I think Elvis Mercury's right here. I think you are going to struggle as time goes on.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that is like that's part of being an interesting human, is that you are going through struggles on a regular basis. If your life is great, like imagine how boring. Like on some level, imagine how boring it is to be someone like Brad Pitt. You're like rich, everyone thinks you're attractive, and like what do you like? What is there? What struggle is there for you? How interesting is your life? And I think that's, maybe that's when you begin, doing a bunch of drugs to sedate
Whoa! Why are
yourself.
you throwing Brad Pitt underneath the bus?
Well, I think that, maybe some of like the drug stuff that goes on in Hollywood
Oh yeah,
is actually a result of like the absence of struggle. Anyway, it was just like
that's funny.
a tangent. I watched some Brad Pitt movie. I watched The Counselor the other day.
Oh, is that any good? I never saw that one.
Oh, it's an interesting one. I think you'd like it a lot. Like the story isn't super good, but it's great. It's like very it's like a very different story structure. It like starts at the end of a movie, and that's the whole movie, is the end of a story rather than like from
Yeah,
the beginning to the end. It's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's a nice
yeah.
experiment. There are like tons of famous
I
people.
think what's his name did that movie. Guy who did Blade Runner. How am I blanking
Ridley
on his?
Scott.
Yeah, I think Ridley Scott. Didn't he direct that?
He did. He
Yeah.
did.
Cool. I'll check it out. This is a great post. Siggy, you're always yeah. You always just
Bringing
know
it.
what to pick. Yeah. The next top story is Semaphore, peer-to-peer crowdfunding with Bitcoin. This is from a super testnet, January 15th Bitcoin post, 32 comments, 6,225 sats. Keyan, what is this?
Yeah, so yet another invention from the laboratories of Super Testnet. With
Yeah.
the laboratories, which was it's a tent laboratory, but a laboratory. Another invention. This is a crowdfunding. This is one of his like one page, self-hosted in a browser applications, but it's for crowdfunding in this case. Which and it's a really cool. I think the user experience is pretty fantastic and pretty easy to use. The like other than the like typical super style of it being like not relying on any servers or anything or dedicated servers at least. The other thing is it allows revocation of any donations that you make using a contract. He shows in the
Yeah.
video. He shows in the video where you could like if you want to give to a campaign, you either pledge or you hit revoke. If you hit revoke, you fund a contract that I believe has two branches. One is well, there's three. One is that the funding campaign ends, and they've raised all the money that they want, in which case the fundraiser gets to take the money. Another one is that if they don't like at any point before the fundraiser is over, you as the pledger can take back your money. And then another one is at the end of the campaign, if they haven't raised all of their money, you can take back your money then as well. Anyway, it's like a cool like refundable campaign, and this is what the refund part is why he said he built it, because he felt like on Geyser he didn't like uh, that assurance of him being able to take back his money if say someone's like fundraising a hardware thing. Like there's so many stories about like Kickstarter projects where they funded
Yeah,
them and then
they get refund, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's cool. I think it's cool in that way. I think there are like some civil issues with the design of it. I commented on the post, but otherwise, I think it's a really cool, interesting. Uh, I get invention by Super Testnet.
Yeah, I will say I really love this project. I think it's one of his best, for sure. Uh, Also, I should say he is raising 5 Bitcoin. So if any heavy hitters are out there, um,
Is
who
that a
want,
for real race?
yeah, 100%, he's raising 5 Bitcoin. So
Oh, I didn't know.
if any stackers or any viewers listening, um, send that 5 Bitcoin, and you have a month. If he doesn't hit it in a month, then you get it back. So that's why I think he really built it. I think he realizes like, oh, we're going into, which is great, and I think he's done enough work where he deserves 5 Bitcoin. He's done enough for Bitcoin where he deserves 5 Bitcoin.
That's a lot of
Um,
Bitcoin.
is it though? All the
It
stuff that
is
he's
though.
done, all the pro dude, the guy had like 217 contributions in his first like 18 months. Um, and then all the inventions, everything. I'm sure Geyser's going to implement this. Dude, there's a rich Bitcoiner out there that would give him one or two, or even five. You never know. Anyways, I love the project super. I think you did an amazing job because I know you watch the show. That's why I'm talking to you right now. Oh wait, we got a top comment from David W. He says so super. Would be cool to see Ellen integrated by merging this with Zap Blocker, pending payments, auto invoices. Can you think of a few use cases to solve this? Tony Giorgio jumped in. Absolutely terrible idea to lock Lightning payments for that long. Super came in and says, if you think this is a bad idea, then don't forward payments with the long duration CLTVs. I set my Zap Blocker node to do it, and I charge a large amount to do so. I'm pleased with the results. And then Tony goes, I said it was a terrible idea. Not that I won't come to your house and physically stop you from doing it. And then Super says, so I take it you will hug me then. And he goes, ideally after you stop doing it, but not a requirement. So, yeah, yeah.
It's like a hostile
They're
love
just,
fest.
it's like they're
Yeah.
two brothers, arguing, but they love each other. We got you came in there, says, what if someone makes a revocable pledge, then the fundraiser pledges the rest themselves? What does that mean? What do you mean revocable pledge?
I mean, so the way the revocation contract works is that if I pledge money to your fundraiser and say it's a Bitcoin, and you're raising 5. And so basically, I can take back my money until you raise 5 Bitcoin or the time runs out. But the way Super's contract works is what is you as the fundraiser, you can fund the other 4 Bitcoin and then take my Bitcoin. You can basically get around my ability to get a refund. Do you see what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah, that's interesting. What did he say to
Yeah,
that? He didn't say anything?
I just posted that today. I don't he might not be online wherever
There you
he
go.
is. I think
Super.
he's
Answer that. Answer that one, Super. Really cool stuff, man.
Yeah, they also do have Lightning support now. He released
He
that
did it
a
already? Did he put
he
the
did it
GitHub
like
on here?
a couple days later. A
Super, you need
couple
to
days
start
later.
putting the GitHub on here too, buddy. He just has the YouTube.
He's a video maxi.
Yeah,
He
he's
loves
he's
his.
trying to be a YouTube star now, I think. I'm just kidding.
That'd be
No, but yeah,
hilarious.
you should put the GitHub here somewhere. Cool. That's a great one, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at that. Yeah, he's already
stoked.
raised 100 sats. There you go, Keyan.
Oh, did he link to his thing?
I can't click on the YouTube link because I'm in this like airport thing, but it would
Oh,
kill
it's
the.
on YouTube.
Yeah,
The
it's on
link is.
YouTube. It's right
I
here.
see.
Yeah, I got to stay in the Stacker News universe right now. So
Okay.
yeah, cool. Check it out, Stackers. Interesting project, and then also start your own crowdfund. And if you do, drop it on Stacker News. You know, especially if it's for something that there's always people who are like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. Well, then go and create it. Drop it on Stacker News. And I don't know which one would you put that in? I guess you would put that in Meta, or I guess we don't really have a.
Um.
I'm trying to see.
Yeah,
Devs? Would it be
there
devs?
should be an
Personal
ass
finance?
milking. There should be an ass milking
Territory?
territory.
The shill territory?
Yeah.
Get on it, Stackers.
Mhm.
We need a shill territory. All right, cool. The next top story is payment solution Stripe deplatforming accounts that sell Bitcoin hardware. This is January 16th. Bitcoin post from BitSaga. 44 comments, 5,481 sats. Keyan, I totally saw this coming. I've been saying this for a really long time. You know this. What is the story about?
The story's about BitSaga. I guess they sell Bitcoin hardware and they accept fiat for payment. And because Stripe runs all the fiat rails basically on the internet, I mean, more or less, they have like the best like toolkit for doing so. Um, BitSaga use Stripe, but it appears Stripe. If you click on BitSaga's Twitter link, which has a conversation he had with the Stripe support. Stripe support says that they don't allow selling of mining hardware. It's like their terms and service like disallow it, and so that's why BitSaga was removed from being able to take payment via Stripe.
Keyan. It's like they don't want business. I don't understand that.
Well, they're like a multi-billion-dollar company, so they want businesses that, I mean, they have the ability to choose their businesses.
So it's a private club now, Stripe. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Also, I'm getting a little bit of echo from you.
Okay, sorry. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Stripe has only been around for about a decade. They grew quite fast and were run by very very skilled hackers and like prior founders who had some success. But I imagine still at their early, when they were much younger, they weren't able to like pick and choose so much. I wonder if they had like more shadier type of clientele. Obviously, where they couldn't draw these lines. But for what I think because they can afford to have a political, they can afford to make ideological decisions. They are making ideological decisions now.
Yeah, like this is why we don't use Stripe. Like Plub Lab doesn't use Stripe specifically because we've gotten rugged by them in the past. Um, and this is a lot of Bitcoin companies do use Stripe. And I'm just like I'm not willing to take that risk. It's too high of a risk for me personally. And I think if and I honestly, if I'm being really practical about this, I'm probably sure it's just like a middle management problem. There's some kind of disconnect between the Collison brothers and how they're looking at Bitcoin. I will say though, it doesn't help that the Collison brothers also did give Stellar and XLM and that foundation a lot of money in its early days to get it going. So I will say that just for background for the stackers at home. Um,
Yeah, I think they're friendly to Bitcoin. I think I've heard them. I think I've seen clips of them saying nice things about Bitcoin, and they have, not Bitcoin only, but crypto projects, or crypto payment type systems that they allow. I wonder why they're drawing a hard line with the hardware, though. I wonder if it might not be related to like to the actual to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining in general, and it might be instead related um, to like fraud that's like maybe a little more common among Bitcoin miners. I mean, I don't really know, but that would be my like most generous guess. No, does that
no,
make sense?
no, it's not that, Keon. It's literally like where's their donations to the HRF? Where's their donations to OpenSats? Where there's donations to Brink? Where are their donations to these places? They're not doing that. They're donating to like Jed McCaleb and his like crazy
But what year was
foundation.
that?
It was like not even what 4 years ago. That's what I'm trying to say, dude. No, they have skin in the game. They don't want Bitcoin to succeed. Like those guys need to fix the problems internally, and they rugged us. Like, come on, man. And then also on top of that, like I hate saying this because this just sounds like now I'm just saying the narrative thing to say. ESG, bro. That's all I'm saying. Maybe it's more ESG related than anything else.
I mean, it could be. I think it's a reasonable guess. I suspect they're very conscious, like try to be very conscious of that somehow in their business decisions, and they think this is the right decision in that frame. But it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be really loud about this, but I will just say like if you're a Bitcoin business and or you're stackers and you have Bitcoin in your name, be careful. That's all I would say. I touch a stove, I get burned. I don't touch a stove again, right? Like, come on, that's just how I feel about it. You got Anon. He came in. He said the read of the terms of service or take your business elsewhere arguments ignore. It's really hard to start and run a business 99% of the time. Everyone will go with the easiest option so you can focus on running your business and not dying, not taking a side or saying this is right. It's just true. Stripe is often one of the more expensive payment options. Yeah, there's so many other options out there. Um, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm being too hard.
No, I mean, there aren't that many options out there for depending on the type of payment integration that you want. So if you want a very like bespoke payment integration, I'm not sure there are many competitors with Strike that allow you to do that, where you can really style everything and control everything and have it deeply integrated into your system and not just like tacked on in like a hacky way. I think Stripe has the best version of that, as far as I know, at least as of like 5 years ago. Um, and there aren't many other choices. You have Square, who has like landing pages and checkouts and stuff, but those are all like Square branded, and I don't know, like not very developer centric, and more like general e-commerce centric maybe. There's a reason why Strike is huge and successful. It is like, you know, there aren't many people who are competing because the business is really hard. And additionally, they have like extra flavor that they provide on relative to some other people. But yeah, you shouldn't use them if you're a Bitcoin company. Just don't tell them you're a Bitcoin company. Number one.
Oh, hide your orange flags, guys. No, I mean, this is why they're going to lose. And I hate to be this drumming this beat, but it's just the truth, man. We got Zap right out there. They're literally integrating with everybody. They're going to have options. You're going to be able to use Strike. You're going to be able to use Zebedee. You're going to be able to use whatever you want to use. Stripe, you want to get rug? Use Stripe. You want to use Square? Use Square. You want to, I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. It's just the takeovers happening. And, you know, I mean, it's just inevitable. I mean, we got a Bitcoin ETF now, Keon. Come on. Why aren't they taking it seriously?
Wow, I'm sorry. I want to. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they'll be dying anytime soon, but I do see them if they don't. It's kind of one of those things where they have. It's like the internet and Microsoft. It's like where they can only put like Bill could only put it off for so long, and like at one point, he
Yeah,
really
good
has to
point.
make that call, and if he didn't make that call, Microsoft probably would have died. But
I got a better one for you. Or it's like the iPhone, and they were trying to do their whole Windows phone, and they just did it too late, and they lost to Android, and so they never regained that phone market share. So,
hardware is different though than
uh,
software, as we've discussed, which you maybe don't appreciate yet fully, even though you're big on Satoshi Pocket. Uh, yeah, the hardware is extra hard. It's really hard to do
yeah,
hardware.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you got a point. All right. We'll jump into the next top story. The next top story is, how do you explain zapping to non-Bitcoiners? This is from Scoresby. January 17th, Bitcoin post, 59 comments, 3,387 sats. Keyan, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting question. I mean, I personally don't explain zapping to non-Bitcoiners. I don't really talk to many non-Bitcoiners. I wouldn't call it zapping if I were to say something to non-Bitcoiners. I mean, if I'm telling someone about Stacker News, I'm like, you can send Bitcoin to people and earn Bitcoin from people. And that's roughly what I say. Uh, and then, but I'm not very much of a salesman. So, some of the commenters do a better job. One of the top comment there from Simple Stacker is, imagine if you got a penny for every upvote you got on Reddit, which I think is a very compelling image, like a nice visual, it has a full visualization associated with it, and you can challenges the audience to tally up how many upvotes they've ever received. But I don't know, how do you explain zapping?
I like, I'll give you an example, right? Here at this mining conference, Stacker News came up. Somebody loved the not the show, the site. Somebody loved the site, and they were like, "Man, that's amazing!" Like all this stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, it's great." They're like, "I can see where I can make more from Stacker News than I could mining as a pleb miner, not like a big time miner, but like a pleb miner." And I was like, "Actually, you're probably not wrong." And that's the best way to explain it. It's another sat flow. Like, I think you need to, like, at least if you're a media company, like, I run Thriller, so like I look at it like sat flow from Fountain, sat flow from Stacker News, sat flow from Zebedee, sat flow from every which way that you can, right? Yopaki will have that at some point, and there will be sat flow from there. Zapright will be integrated. There will be sat flow from there, and it's just creating multiple sat flows. And I think that's the way to go, and that's the way I would say you're earning Bitcoin passively, right? Like, not doing anything other than participating in the community, the subcultures of these different kind of places. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's interesting. I mean, I think one of the unique things about Bitcoin is it has this very strong metaphor for work, this proof of work thing. I think, and earning money from that. I don't know. It's just a very clean visual that we all get, and this Sats float, the work and get something is a very obvious thing in Bitcoin. And so I think that's really all that's there, because the same thing exists in fiat, or versions of it where I work and I get paid my fiat money. Um, but it's I guess it's just indirect. It's very frictionful. Like, if you imagine, if on Thriller, if you're earning, if you have sat flow from Thriller, how would that work in a fiat world? Probably not great. You'd have a monthly subscription maybe, but like most people, it might end up just being ad driven. And then so you have it's very indirect. Your work leads you to get an audience, which leads you to be able to get advertisers, which you can keep so long as you have your audience. But with Bitcoin, it's more direct, and that's cool.
And that's why I'm so bullish on Wavelake these days. Shout out Sam and Michael, but like What they're doing is a totally different. I think they're going to flip the script on how we look at sat flow, because I'm going to be able to create a playlist on Wavelake and then share that to my audience, and then I'm going to earn sat flow. However they figure that out. That's why I think like once I'm telling you, dude, once this whole like music culture gets on board or subculture of this, it's going to be game over. And I don't think people are watching this closely. It's the same way I was looking at you and Oscar early on, where I was like, I don't think people understand where this is headed, but Wavelake is leading that, Fountain's leading that, and I think when I look at Nostr, it's unfortunate because it could totally be that. It just chooses not to be. And I think once you have like this kind of, I don't know how to describe it, and I really need to flesh out these ideas, but it in my head it's painfully obvious Nostr could go that way, and there should be way more sat flow, there should be way more zapping on Nostr, and there just isn't. And I suspect there's a couple reasons why, but I think it'll figure it out. But when I look at Wavelake, I think that's the next step. It's they're going to be able to figure out the audience interaction that you've already figured out, right? With the stackers and how they participate in this kind of proof of work system. Same thing with Fountain. And so maybe I'm talking out of my butt again, but that's what I think is really going on here, and I think that's the next level kind of thinking to this.
Yeah, I'm personally really. I mean, it's really cool to see Wav just keep trucking, and they keep iterating and keep iterating. I remember when we first discussed them, like I don't know, maybe like very early in our Stacker News episodes, and
Yeah, it was so hard. Yeah.
it was just so early. And I talked to Michael even before they launched, and I think there's something really cool there. I can imagine musicians really getting into Bitcoin stuff. I think it just makes a lot of sense for them. Just any like marginalized community with like a small with like a small but very dedicated and like fanatic base of consumers. I think there's a lot of room for Bitcoin. And like I think about like busker. Like I see a lot of busking in Austin because it's legal here to just set up shop on a sidewalk. You see a lot of that stuff. And so I can imagine for that type of person, Bitcoin, I don't know, it feels like it makes a lot more sense, especially when no one's carried around cash anymore and that's all gone.
Yeah, and I think, and we can jump off of Wavelake, and I don't want to talk their book, but I think when I look at Spotify, right, I use Spotify, make playlists for it, have followers, I follow people, all that kind of stuff, and I could see that being just paying a Bitcoin invoice every month for Wavelake access, and then earning Sats and all that stuff. So to me, it's like painfully obvious where it's headed. It's going to be 10 times better than what we have right now with like Bandcamp. That's like the first step, and then once you get that one or two big musicians or artists, like it's basically SoundCloud all over again, and then you get a whole subculture of like these SoundCloud rappers that came out in the late 2010s. So I think it's going to happen, just in a different way, but we'll see. Anyways,
Cool.
let's jump into the next top story. So, how are we activating L2 LNSymmetry? This is from Nerd to Ninja, January 17th. Bitcoin post, 12 comments, 5,516 sats. Keyan, what is this?
Okay, so L2
That's
is
funny.
another soft fork, like another soft fork proposal for Bitcoin. It aims to make Lightning channels a little more, in certain ways, better, and arguably for some people worse. But basically, L2 currently how Lightning works is when I establish a channel with you, if I cheat you, you get all of my money that I put up in the channel. Is what happens in the current Lightning in the current Lightning channel. With L2, instead, what happens is if I cheat you, you can basically say, "No, you're trying to cheat me," and reestablish like the like baseline that we had. You don't get to like take all my money from me if I cheat you, but you do get to contest me trying to cheat you and defend against me cheating you. In addition to like there's like an efficiency enhancement in Lightning itself where uh, there's less like channel state getting managed, which some people don't think is a big deal, but I think it probably is a big deal. Um, anyway, it's a really interesting proposal. It's very simple, and it has like a bunch of other applications too. Like it can be paired with other opcodes to do covenants and other types of things. But like all Bitcoin soft forks, it's fairly contentious.
Yeah, we have Peter Todd top comment. He said the problem with L2 is that removing punishment has serious risk in untrusted environments. Your counterparty can steal a lot of money if they manage to get revoked state mined up to almost the entire balance of the channel. With L2, the only disincentive to attempting a theft is transaction fees, which, if you want to close the channel anyway, isn't necessarily much of a disincentive. The attempt might not succeed, but even a 5% chance of stealing a lot of money can make it worth it if there is no downside, to trying. L2 is probably okay for more trusted environments, e.g., between parties that know each other, where an attempt at theft can be discouraged without a bad punishment. But the fact that it has this massive potential problem in the quite common case of untrusted channels has discouraged interest into it. Incidentally, and then he goes on to explain the use cases for APO. What do you think about that, Keon?
I mean it's an interesting point, because basically what he's saying is that in a world where we have L2 and Lightning channels are L2 enabled, what'll happen is if you're going to close a channel, why don't you just try to cheat your channel partner every time, because it doesn't really cost you anything to do it. There's no penalty for it. So why don't you just try to cheat them, and maybe you'll earn some stolen money from it. But there was an interesting comment here from Endothermic Dev, where they agree that Peter's thinking is right, but argue that current kind of game theory is possible in the existing Lightning Network if you spend your balance to zero on my side of the channel. I have now the game theory is roughly identical, and what I can do is I can try to cheat you, and I have nothing to lose. Like if I want to close the channel, I try to cheat you. I have nothing to lose by trying to cheat you, because I've already spent all that money. And so it's just to my advantage to try to cheat you in that case. And so I think it's an interesting point. And then, but Peter Todd comes back with that channels have a reserve, and that's actually what you can lose in the case where you cheat and your balance is zero. And that's good discussion overall, though.
Dude, that's why I love Stacker News, because you have people, you have like big brains like Peter in there, just like explaining some of this stuff. That's fantastic. I love that, man. Love that. It's one of my favorite things about Stacker News is the left side of the bell curve people can ask the right side of the bell curve people really dumb questions.
Well, this yeah. I would just wish we had more. I feel like we sometimes get off balance in one direction or the other, and I wish we. I don't know. I feel like I wish like those of us on the left side of the bell curve felt more comfortable asking questions, and I felt like people on the right side of the bell curve didn't want to like isolate themselves and only hang out with the right side of the bell curve. I mean, I feel like this is how it's like when these two groups meet together is how a significant movement will be formed. But when they're separate, there's nothing they can do. It's like, like when to use a horrible metaphor that none of the libertarian Bitcoin maximalists are going to like, but like if you have a union, if you want to form a union, you need a union organizer. You need it like takes many people of different skill sets to like to deliver to the world a movement. And anyway,
it's funny because you're literally describing Pleb Lab. It's kind of hilarious how you're like, no, seriously, that's how I think about Pleb Lab is I get to hang out with some really smart people, and I'm on the left side, and those really smart people, want to explain it. They have empathy, I would say. Not that none these other people don't. It's just I honestly think it's just a lot of people are busy. I don't think
Oh yeah.
I think we read too much into what people say or what people are doing or what they're commenting on. I think people just are too busy, and
Oh yeah.
I think that's more probably what it is. But that's why I'm
Oh
always
no,
grateful.
absolutely.
I think I'm always grateful whenever I see like somebody like Merch or Peter or a dozen other people that are on Stacker News. It's like so grateful because they took the time out.
Likewise.
Yeah, really awesome, cool stuff. The next no, this is meta. So that's all the top 5 stories of the week. We're gonna jump into meta right now. I don't actually have a top story. Keyan, you don't have a top story. But let's jump into some meta. This is random thoughts on territories from Siggy47, January 15th meta post. What'd you think of this one, Keyan?
Oh, well, that we gave this one should be actually Natalia's post, which was actually the top post of the week, but it was meta, so we didn't. The art of using Stacker News Part 2.
Yeah. So you want to get into that one first?
Yeah, we should do that one first
Okay.
because that was actually a top ranked.
Oh, so this was
story.
actually the top story, quote unquote, but it was in meta.
It was meta, so I don't, like we don't want that to
Are
be.
you discouraging her?
No,
not to put it in meta.
I think she does, these posts are fantastic. It's mostly like we only cover. I prefer to cover meta at the end because like I don't want us to only be talking about Stacker News on Stacker News Live.
Oh, gotcha. Even though it's called Stacker News Live, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't. Can you imagine like what if Saturday Night Live only featured like news stories on their own celebrities and their cast?
Oh, is that who
like,
we're comparing ourselves to Saturday Night Live now? Okay, cool.
Well, dude, we're way bigger and way sexier. I'm funnier.
Cool. Well, yeah, this is the top meta post of the week. The Art of Using Stacker News 2, Volume 2. This is from Natalia, January 18th. Meta post, 91 comments, 24,000 sats. Dude, this was amazing. I don't think I've seen a post like this in a really long time, as far as where I was just impressed. What about you?
Yeah, it was a banging post. There's a few people who really do these like killer posts on Stacker News, and Natalia is one of them. And she had done the artist using Stacker News. I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago. That was another great post and a great introduction to like what is this thing that Stacker News is. And this one is just kind of like an update, like what has changed on Stacker News since she wrote that post. What in addition to like what was already there that she had learned about, but she writes about a few of the updates that we have, like one of the weird like DM hacks that you can do, or you can send someone.
I didn't know that, and then I mean I did know that, but I didn't really think of it like that. But that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's not very private. It's all like plain text, and also someone can fake that they're someone else when they're not them. But it's like it's like a cool, like if you want to talk to a stacker, you can just send them a sat or two and send them a small message. She writes about territories, auto withdrawals, cross posting to no stir. And she writes about other good practices as far as like being anon, how to stay more private. One of the things that happened as a result of some of our conversations with Natalia when she was writing this post was that she noticed implausible that you could deduce a stacker's location based on our because we have our public analytics. And she sent us a link to someone who she thought she had like identified their like pattern of behavior and possibly where they were located. And then at that point we removed it. But that's an interesting point is it's really hard, even though we're using a very privacy focused analytics thing, there's still like patterns in people's behavior that if someone cared enough, they could figure it out. So another vote for using a VPN or Tor, and then a variety of like quality of life things like muting noisy people and territories and stuff. And then this is one. Okay, so then she also wrote about the trust algorithm here. She asked me a bunch of questions about the trust algorithm. I thought she was really curious, but she describes it here in detail, which is pretty awesome. We need to like link to these, I think, somewhere else on the site.
I was just gonna say amazing post. Just real quick, just so you know, if the stream cuts off, it's because I'm getting booted out because I was only supposed to be here till 6. Sorry, Francisco. It just went over. So there's that, and then
going into surgery.
No, I'm saying we were here for a time limit. What? My flight's not taking off yet. It's not taking off for like another hour. But if that happens, we'll connect the dots after post production. So just so the stackers at home, sorry in advance. And then so Keyan too. Yeah, to go back to the post, I think it's a masterpiece. If there's masterpieces about like Stacker News and how to use it, this is one of them. I don't know where you put like maybe that's what you call it. It's just like the most epic post of all time. Like I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe it has I don't know. Maybe you bring out a gun or like I don't know. Maybe there's an emoji next to it or maybe it's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. This is one of them. Um, Also, I really want to post this on Thriller, just like because it's just so good. Uh, Natalia, let me post it on Thriller, please. Like, I
Well,
think this is
DM
so
her.
good. Yeah,
DM her
DM
on
her,
Stacker News.
DM her. But dude, it's so good. Even Darth Coin, what? This guy, how dare you come back on Stacker News just to say most impressive? Even
Did he
he
really?
came,
Did
yeah,
he?
he came
Oh,
back just
oh,
to say this most impressive. Darth Coin came back. He goes, I came here just to say this. Even he saw
oh
it, dude.
god.
I think, and then everybody was like, "What? He's back!" But no, he's not back. He just came back for that.
I didn't even see that. I had given up. I had given up the search for Darth Coin. I figured he had just
He's on
been.
Noster, not getting
I see.
zapped. So I think that's why he wants it. Wants to be on Noster.
He doesn't need
He
zaps.
doesn't need sats. He doesn't need them.
Yeah.
No, amazing post. Everybody's just congratulating. Zapping is win, 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 win. Yeah, this is. I think it's a triumph. Keyan,
Amazing. Amazing.
amazing community on Stacker News. Yeah, I can't say any other nice things, but it's pretty remarkable. Yeah, cool. Let's jump into random thoughts now.
Random thoughts is next.
Yeah,
Let's try to. We can go through them fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
What did
So
you
this
think
is
of this
random
one?
thought. Yeah. This. I thought it was a great write up on Siggy's experience so far running a territory.
It's
I've been
hard.
running. I've been it's hard. I've been running the territories on Stacker, like quote unquote territories, but like Stacker News itself for so long that I think I'm a little bit detached
Say
from
say that again.
Do you want to extend your reservation?
Yeah, just by like 30 minutes. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah.
Can I pay when I?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Thanks. All
right.
That was weird. That was a weird. Did you hear
Cars in
that?
the VIP lounge.
Was that like a?
Club right
Did you
now. I
guys
think
hear
you're
that?
muted, by the way.
Oh wait. Okay, good. You didn't hear that?
I did hear it.
Oh, you did hear it. Okay.
You muted it like afterward.
Oh, you heard the first part? Yeah, they were like
Yeah.
asking when I want to extend it. It was a weird thing. Anyway, we're going back to this. What were you saying? I missed the whole part about it's hard after that.
Yeah, it's mostly it's hard for me to relate a little bit. I think, or like I've forgotten what it's like to try to make a territory happen. Given I've been doing it for a while. Anyway, he has a lot of great tips in the way he's thinking about it, and some of his thoughts on like our public the roadmap that we've discussed so far.
I think,
And
yeah, I
yeah,
was gonna say I think it's really hard to do territories. I think we can all agree on that. The other thing I think I've found is I just don't have enough time to do that during the day. And that's because we have people helping us. I think the best thing to do, and I don't know how you do this, maybe you just post in the territory, is to find a stacker and then do prisms out for anything that they do. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you have to find a person to curate your territory. And I don't know what that looks like on Stacker News, but I suspect that's probably for me that would be the most beneficial thing is getting a curator. But yeah, I don't know.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know either. It's a bit. I mean, uh, I think it'll take some time to figure out how we actually incentivize these things properly so that they work the way people expect them to. Because it seems like a lot of people, there were some people, not everyone, but some people who had the expectation that they create it and then people will show up to it and people will. But it's like no, Stacker News took like 2 years to get to even where it is now, and it's still very modest in size. And I'm working all the time on it, so it's maybe there needs to be more communication about how hard it is, or we need to make it easier. But overall, I think there's a lot that we can do to make it easier, in addition to uh, structuring the incentives and rewards to make it more more worth putting effort into.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is just the initial thing is just there are so many created, and then we're gonna see some drop off. And I think you have to have it hard, Keon. It's like Bitcoin. It's like it's supposed to be hard. If you wanted it easy, then you would go to Reddit, right? So I think it's supposed to be hard. Um, but other than that, I mean, you're seeing the Fedi guys. They came in and made a territory, and it's taken off, right? So I think also having a push behind it also helps. I personally always say, like, if you have a post you want to share on Stacker News Live, post it in the thread. So if any territories want some free things, I will post it here on Stacker News Live. So yeah. Anyways, but cool. The next meta post is semantic search. What's this, Q?
Semantic search. So semantic means like meaning. Um, Basically, it's like sort of a machine learning AI thing. But basically, what we do now is like every post and comment that we get, we use a machine learning model to figure out roughly what that post or comment means. Um, not in a way where we can like say this is what it means, but in a way that we can relate it to other types of content and say this post means something similar to this post more so than it means something similar to another post. And that's basically what semantic search is. And it also works for things like queries. This is how Google's been doing this for a very long time. They've had semantic like search. That's why you feel like Google is kind of smart and really helps you figure things out. Um, is because it's doing this type of analysis on every web page on the internet. But now Stacker News has it in our search in addition to our related posts. I'm actually really excited about having better search because we have like so much content, and uh, I always struggle to find, I'm aware of so much of it. When I go to try to find it, sometimes I couldn't find it. So far, I haven't had any trouble finding anything that I was looking for recently. So I'm pretty excited to have that ability. Anyway, that's all that is.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, so I never have problems searching for anything, but I think it's because I always remember the person or the stacker that um, posted it. So I always remember that, and then I check my bookmarks, even though you don't think I use them. I check my bookmarks, and then I check there, and if it's not there, then I go to Plan B. Is like what year, what month was it, like that type of thing. But usually I remember the stacker that posted it. If that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
but this change should allow you. So if our search is good, what it means is you don't have to remember. You can only remember You should only have to remember the faintest detail about whatever you were looking for and be able to find it. The same way when you tell someone about something you saw on the internet and you say Google it, like that's like kind of what the ideal search situation is. Like Google for this term, and you will find what I mean, because that's enough. That's like enough of a lead that Google will figure out the rest for you. I'm not saying we're anywhere near as good at Google as any of that, but this is like a step in the right direction where, like, if you don't remember the stacker, and you shouldn't have to, you don't remember the stacker, you don't remember the time period or whatever, you should be able to do a rough search for things and actually get a result. Before it was hit or miss. So
Yeah, I also think too, like, yeah. So you're saying now, if like I remember Stratechery posts about AI, I can type in Stratechery AI and then it'll come up. And even though I don't remember who posted it, I could have even posted it. I don't know, but that's what I'm trying to say. Is you're saying that now I can type in those two words and it would come up.
yeah,
Good.
you
Let's
should be
try
able
it.
to.
Let's try it. Put your sats where your mouth is, Keon.
I don't even know what stratechery.
Stratechery. It's been let me see. Did it come up? Nope, that wasn't it.
Strat.
Am I spelling it right? Yo, I spelled it wrong. I spelled Stratechery wrong. Let me try it again.
Yeah, but it should be able to work.
Yeah, it did come up. It's okay. You got. Keep working on it.
Oh, that's because no one writes stratechery. That's like in the link. I guess we could
Oh,
use the link. But if you write more of what the title is,
I think maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was OpenAI. I think I just put AI. Maybe it was OpenAI. Stratechery post. Nope, I don't see it.
I
Anyways,
don't know. Okay, that's an interesting use case because you're looking for
The
the contents
post.
of a link.
I'm looking for the post. I'm pretty sure we shared it on here. Somebody did because I brought it up. Anyway, doesn't matter, Keyan. You keep building. Use
Keep
quotes. Somebody
building.
said use quotes. Okay, let me use quotes.
I just don't recall. I know you've shared Stratechery links, but I don't recall any. We're not searching the URL. So like a Stratechery is that word only appears in URLs. Anyway, it's not clearly we're not meeting expectations here.
I'm
So
sorry. I'm sorry, Keyan.
I'll take the L. I'll take the L.
I'm sorry, Keyan. Let me just type in Ben instead. No, it's not coming up. It's okay.
What did you search for this time? I can't even see your screen.
Well, okay, let me just type in Pleb Lab because I know I posted Pleb Lab about Top Builder. Let's see if that comes up.
Well, that's should be harder.
Yeah, that's harder. It's not coming up. Oh, right here, there's builder stuff coming up. I don't know, man. Search is hard, bro. Search is hard. It's okay. It's okay, Keyan. Quotes didn't work last part. He said use quotes. It didn't work.
Yes. Depends on what you're.
All right, Keyan.
Maybe.
Yeah, sorry to ruin your meta. It's okay. It's okay. See, we're going to the most. Oh, actually, we're gonna go into super stat segment of the week. Keyan, look at the top stackers.
Oh, I can't see your screen, so I'll have to go to it myself.
Yeah.
Super stat segment.
We got Siggy 47.
Siggy, always at the top. Undisciplined, Exia stacking a lot. Gray Ruby, Elvis Mercury continues to stack.
David W.
I haven't seen him around as much this past week.
I was talking to him this week in the saloon. We're gonna do a top builder AMA for all the teams, and he's the one that runs the AMA.
Oh,
yeah, he runs this one.
No, David W doesn't run the AMA.
Oh, Ben Werman. Ben does. Yeah. Sorry, David. Got you confused with Ben.
Yeah. David's another popular Bitcoiner.
Kepford.
Yeah, lots of top stackers. Kepford writing, what is he? His series is called, he's doing like a fairly daily series. Why I'm Bullish is the series. That's the title of the series that he's doing.
Oh, wow. Gotta check it out. Awesome. There you go. Zap Kepford. Zap him. And then let me zap. Let's zap David just because, you
made that unfortunate mistake.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was talking to Ben. Let me just tell people. I was talking to Ben about doing a top builder AMA with all the teams because we have like 26, 29 teams. And I was like, yeah, let's just introduce them all to the Stacker News community. And we're going to do that next Friday, Keyan. Do that next Friday. What do you think about that?
I think that's great. I mean, is it one team specifically or all of them?
All of them at once. It's just chaos.
Free for all. Okay.
Free for all.
Cool.
So we're gonna
That's how we do it.
We'll list them all there. We'll put the team names, the Stacker News, and then they'll be able to ask. We'll put a little blurb about their project, the GitHub, and they'll be able to ask all these teams. They can, explain their projects to them. So I think
I have some feedback
really cool
on that if you want some feedback.
Yeah. What should I do? Should I do differently? Just do like 10 teams at a time?
I would group them up by like project type.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, like if someone's working, if there are teams that are working on wallets,
wallets, have wallet, hardware.
Top builder wallet teams, AMA.
Gotcha.
Yeah, where you have like a bunch of like big brains and scrappy builders on that specific topic. Because if it's like a free for all, it's like I have to choose who I want to ask a question to.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me do that. Yeah,
give you more content too.
Yeah, this works. Cool. We're going to do that next Friday. Check it out, Stackers, if you want to be a part of it. I think we have some really cool teams, Keyan. Anyways, let's get into the most boring segment in Bitcoin. Dude, everybody loves this boring segment, dude. It
Of course they do,
makes sense.
because
And
it's
then
not boring.
look what last
You're the
Spartan,
you're
look
the
what
Jim
last Spartan
Cramer of
said.
segments.
No, I didn't want to make this. I wanted to get rid of this. I still want to get rid of it. Look, last Spartan pointed out that Rook, look at Rook, man. He turned his cowboy hat. How dare you? He turned his cowboy hat. Ben the Carmen, look at Ben, my dark horse. Literally climbing the ranks. As soon as he does, Keyan turns off his cowboy hat. Now Rook turns his back on. My boy would have been in 4th place, Keyan. What's going on with Rook? What's going on with Kevin?
In truth, Ben is probably, he's probably back and he's probably not even in the top 10 really if everyone turned their cowboy hats on. He's got like a handicap going.
I wouldn't do that. You're gonna get the Council of Bens coming after you. That's all I'm saying. Do not go down this road, Keyan. I cannot walk with you down this road. You can't go against the Bens. You can't do it.
I don't know. They're like spread out. And they don't even.
They're only getting stronger year by year.
Imagine you're in a fight with a bunch of Bens, and one of them says, "Hey Ben, help!" How who which they all get confused.
Why do you think I apologize to Ben Werman right now? Because I insulted a Ben by confusing him with David W. That's what I'm saying. Like the Bens are serious.
We'll bring it, Bens.
Don't do that.
There's only one.
You're literally going to get them to create their own territory and literally take over Stacker News.
Someone should create a Ben. Someone should create a Ben territory.
Council of Ben territory. It's just Ben posts. Anyway, but yeah, dude, what's up with Kevin? He turned back his cowboy hat.
I don't know. Maybe he was like trying something out. I'm not sure why he turned it back.
I don't know. Yeah. His 365 is coming up. Looks like said his 365 is coming up. That's why he turned it back on. So how many days in a row? No way, really?
Oh, right. Yeah. He was talking about.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's true. He has 353 days. Rook. Got Siggy. Orthworm. Bird Eye. All right, Rook, you can turn yours off.
Maybe we'll color hats when they cross a year.
We have been telling Rook to like flash his cowboy hat. That's on me. Technically, I've been saying like flash your cowboy hat. You still got it. Like flash it. You still got it.
We don't know if that's why he flashed it or not. But maybe once cowboy hats cross the year mark, they'll get like a little feather in the hat or something. We could do something just to like let people know.
You've been hanging out in Austin too long. There's so many Stevie Ray Vaughan people with hats and a feather.
I don't even know who that is, but
he's a legend.
Hats. I know. I know who he is. Yeah, but looks like the rankings haven't changed much. Otherwise, I did remove myself. Just trying to give the stackers a chance.
Do the right thing, Keyan.
At an advantage. But it looks like the rankings are more or less the same. Orthworm is still at the top.
If Kevin jumps back,
I think Orthworm, you're muted, Car.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, I keep unmuted so the echo. But again, if Kevin turns his back on, then we're basically the same. I would have had Ben at 4 at this point. We'll see. Kevin, you go turn it off now. We get it.
I thought Orthworm had lost their hat.
No, he did it. No. Yeah. Siggy, I think Siggy's going to be the hardest guy to beat. I think this is no disrespect to Orthworm or Bird Eye, but I do think Ben is he's a dark horse. He's just going to keep going up the ranks. He's Ben Carmen. You don't go against the Bens. And then I think Siggy is just not going to unseat that. Seriously. And then you got a real competition. Siggy and Ben. That's all I'm saying, Keyan. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. Yeah.
Anyways. This segment's getting more interesting by the week.
Oh wow! Look at the flippening is happening. This is the real flipping. Car's respecting the cowboy
hat. Cool. We got 9 minutes before they kick me out again, Keyan.
Okay.
So
we have comments.
Yeah, we have a ton of comments. We got Last Spartan said SNL hype, JM, laughing. Use quotes. I didn't do that. February 1st, whatever that means. And then Nick says Nostr sucks.
Oh, Nick's there. Oh, what's up, Nick?
Of course he does. He misses us. This is a good show, Keyan. People watch the show. What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing? I don't know. I don't think I'm doing anything. I think probably everything, the same thing that I do every weekend, which is I work mostly, and then I don't work for a period of time.
Yeah.
That's basically it. How about you?
Flying back tonight, and I should get home at some point, like at 1 in the morning, and then I got to be back at the lab in the morning because we have Christopher's coming over and he's doing an open agents kind of like technical workshop, and then we have Mark
Wow.
from Crack and he's going to do like a startup journey workshop. Yeah, I think we got a couple people, and then there's some people coming out of town that are going to come in for that, and then yeah, then I got to get all this stuff done. There's so much work to do coming back from Nashville that I wasn't able to get to. So it's going to be a full weekend of work. So, yeah, real quick from Fountain, we got Blockchain Boogie says y'all had the wrong audio selection. We'll check next time. That's why we're in this lounge. Is I want to
Yeah,
make sure we get the right audio selection for you, Blockchain Boog.
that's right. I sent Car to this hospital prison that he's
It's not. It's
currently
actually
in.
a real. Let me see if I can share it. Let me see. I can disconnect. See, it's real. The
I don't see any
airport's
planes. That looks
the
exactly like a
airport's out
hospital,
there.
dude.
The airport's out there, Keyan.
Oh,
You see it?
sure.
It's
That
out
looks like a
there.
doctor's. That's an operating
Why would
room
I
right
be
over
in a
there.
doctor's office?
Because it's
Anyways.
hilarious. It's funnier than being in an airport.
Anyways, stackers, go out this weekend. Stay away from the cold. Stay away from the snow. Stay warm. Make some soup.
Dude, like half the world lives in places where it snows.
I don't
So.
know how they live. How do they get any work done? Anyways, Keyan.
Zap.